So today's video is more like draw cut, so it could be useful with backyard cutter if you want to do a quick draw cut, or people just want to learn how, to do a draw cut. So, because it's not a lot of places in this country that we can just go to any IDO class and learn. It's limited. But you can print something like this out online. It's basically all the names of the cuts. There's 12 total in all of them. Tension, we actually have more. It's pretty much the same cut, but think of it with these cuts on the bottom and then on the sides. So we added more. So the best way to learn how to do a cut, and always do it slow. So if you want to do an overhead cut, take the sword, put it straight up this way, and then bring it above you. And then just shove that side out of your way, because this will get you more inclined to drawing the sword to perform the cut quicker. Because if you have the sword right here, you can, but you still have to draw the sword, then bring it up. But if you go like this, grab it, draw it, now you're already in your position that you need, whichever direction you're going to go. And that's the nice thing. When you're at this stage, you don't have to come down and then turn it at an angle. You can go any direction you want. So even this way, you could come around and do a vertical cut. So it's like here, 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 when you're right here. So that's just one example. If you want to do horizontal cut from left to right, the best way to do a fast cut is turn the sword sideways so the blade is actually facing that way, and then cut. So that's the best way. Because if you draw the sword this way, then you still got to do this, or turn the sword this way. But by turning the sword so the edge is facing the left, as you draw it, you're cutting at the same time. Just remember, when you do it, this hand, because it was like that, you want to bring it back to the same position. If you want to do underhand cut, which this one you definitely have to pay attention with. So you're going to take the whole sword and flip it upside down. Of course, push it with the thumb, and then you can cut. But there again, make sure this hand right here, you turn the side back. Otherwise, and I've done it, you're going to try and put your sword away with it upside down. And that will damage your saya, like right now. And these are just really basic draws. Now granted, yeah, I have my wakizashi on. Tenshinu, when you practice, you wear the wakizashi. I hate that the handles are so long. The handle should come to right here. Okay? Handle should be about 6 inches long on a wakizashi. So if you wear a tanto, that's like perfect. Now, people find it cumbersome wearing two swords. Alright? Simple fact, if you don't have to if you don't want to, unless your school requires it. Then do it out of respect. But just remember, if you put this hand right here, it pushes down out of your way. And now look where my hand is. I have total access to my sword. So, and I can still do a cut. So that's one aspect. Like I said, that's why I'm wearing two swords. It's a good practice sometimes to just try it to see how it feels like. Or if you want to get into backyard cutting where you're going to use two swords, it's a good habit to get into. That way you get the feel of it and the comfort. It's not really cumbersome. If you do want to get into using two swords, it is sometimes, like this one's not too bad, to draw the sword out, untie your seikyo on your wakizashi, then take it, wrap it around and tie it to yourself. That way when you draw it, it's not pulling the sai out. Okay? That's why it just hangs there. That way I can tie it to myself if I'm going to draw this and it doesn't pull the sai out. Because some of these lock in really, really tight. Granted, you shouldn't just yank your sword out of the saya because it does hurt the wood after a while. Definitely just don't slam it in there because you can split the wood. So those are simple, like I said, basic draws that you can do. You know, like I said, reverse draw. So it's an undercut. And get the best way, like the way I was taught, because you're not used to doing it, is raise it up and then just practice it. So this tsuba is near your chin. And then your hand just goes right here, unlock it, and then you're in the position that you need to be in. So it's not hard to learn, and you're just shoving the saya down out of your way. That's all you're doing. So it's just a few pointers. So if some backyard cutters want to do draw cut but do it really, really fast, that's the best way to do it. That way you get a feel for it too, the movement. I've done a few cuts where it's just horizontal, and you can angle it. That's the beauty of this move. You can either draw cut and go straight across, or you can angle it. But like I said, it puts you in that, for basically like in Bokken it's called Jodan. You're already in this position automatically when you bring this up. There's moves just holding the sword, which is, I mean, it's the same way. So if you're just holding it in your hand, you're still just going to move your hand, just like if it was in your obi belt. So, like I said, simple, easy practice moves is all it is. So play around with it. So if you're going to cut from right to left, you're just going to leave the sword where it is. So you're going to draw it and then cut. Because there's no need to change the position. As long as your sword, as long as your katana is pointing in this direction, it should be fine, because it should never be right here. Your sword should never be like that. It should always be positioned this way. So you're basically, if you're wearing two swords, if you look down right here, you're making an X, is basically what you're doing. Now, a lot of iaidos, you have the sword sitting back here. So these tsubas line up, just like this, straight out. Because my tsubas right now are lined up. Okay. Tenshinu, we tend to put the sword out a little bit farther. Because in theory, if I draw this, so basically it's like this, if I draw this, almost half my blade is exposed already. So all it takes me to do is move this hand to take the sword all the way out. So if I put the blade like that, and I take the proper position, so that's how it is. Whereas if it's lined up like this, both I think work, in my opinion. Like I said, depends if you take a school, even if it's online, do what they tell you. I find it more comfortable to have the blade hanging out that far because it's more balanced than like that. So I like it like that. It's more comfortable to me, so I do it that way. Another side note, there's another draw. This kind of goes to Outlaw's video for reverse draw grip, which some people think is fun to do, but it's not practical. But in the style that I learned, Tenshin Yoho, we do have a reverse grip draw, which basically all it is a block. Okay, it's actually 3 moves in one. So the block is, you're going to come up from underneath, palm up. You're going to step your right leg back as you draw this sword. So basically it's like a stabbing motion. So your hand's like this, but this hand is going to go on the blade side of the blade. Okay, so you're like this basically. And the reason being is because if I don't put this hand here, my opponent is going to be able to blow through this. You don't have any strength in this. Okay, you can do all you want, but if your opponent's using 2 hands, they're going to blow through this. Okay, this is weak. So you put this hand right here, and you support the blade for when they hit. Okay, so my hand is kind of like this. All right, I can move it up and down depending on where my opponent's going to hit. So I'm basically pushing these fingers out, this out, so this pad's just touching. Okay, just where your calluses would be on your hand, I'm having touched the blade. So I can move it out of the way quickly so I don't get cut. Now once your opponent hits, you smack your blade. The reason why you smack it is because you're trying to push their blade out of the way. So you just smack it, step, cut in a reverse grip. But once I come this way, I'm going to change and come back with a much stronger cut. That's why I say 3 moves in one. So you block reverse grip, cut and reverse grip really quick, then a strong cut. That is the only reverse grip in the school that I learned that we have. And when you think about it, it is a practical move because you're just using it primarily as a block, but you're also supporting it at the same time. So that would work as long as you're fast enough. That's the whole key, being fast. Because if you don't, your opponent, even if you're bouting for fun, is going to get a point on you. So there's a lot of different variations. The one thing people really have to remember is body mechanics. Doesn't matter what style you learn, whether it be Japanese style, Chinese, European HEMA, the body moves the same way for everybody. Okay? So even though European has totally different moves, it's still going to be similar to the moves in Japanese or Chinese or even Russian. I forget the names of them. Cossack. God, all right. I'm going to slaughter the names, so I'm not going to try. But the Russian tribe that still exists today, their moves are still going to be the same. Okay, there's just going to be variation of tweaks because of the weapons that they have. That's all it boils down to. Okay, so don't ever forget that. Body mechanics for everybody is always the same. Other than that, the block with the reverse grip sucks. It's uncomfortable, okay, to fight like this. Now, if you're going to stab, yeah, it'll work. But to fight like this, if me doing this, I'm leaning that away, which leaves this exposed, and it's uncomfortable. It really, really is. And then I've seen some people, it's not a bad thing, do this for draw, which you can, it's fine. But if you want to start doing some competition stuff, or just goofing around, like I said, you want to keep your body tucked in. So if I do this, that's a target, that's a target, so my arms already are targets. But if you stay more like this, and then I keep my body more tucked in. And like I said, if you're doing backyard cutting, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. People who want to learn or just goof around with friends with the proper gear, of course, and dull blades, recommend polypropylene blades more so, training swords. Use Boken. Just have to be careful with Bokens because they can hurt or kill somebody. This can hurt or kill somebody. Even though there's no tip whatsoever on this thing. This spine can do some damage. This edge can fracture a bone. Just putting that out there. Just got to be careful, wear the proper gear. If you want to practice with somebody, one-on-one, don't go fast. Go slow. And when I mean go slow, I mean both of you go slow. Not one go fast, one go slow. That's not realistic. I hate seeing videos like that. Let me show you how to do this. And the one person's moving super fast, and then the other person's like this. I'm sorry. That's not realistic. Now, granted, I know at first they're showing you how the move should look. But through their whole video, could be the same move. They're doing it the same way. One person moves fast, one person moves slow. If the move actually works, and they've practiced it enough, they should be able to both move at the same speed. I'm just saying. And it's safer to move at a comfortable pace, because the more you do it, even if it's medium pace for both of you, where no one's going to get hurt, it's going to become muscle memory over and over and over again. So you don't really have to go fast. You just have to practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it. So, like I said, if you're just doing backyard cutting, just want to screw around, whatever, go for it. If you want to try some of these draw cuts with your backyard cutting to amp it up a bit more or whatever, go for it. Try it. Like, okay, I did a short, people kind of liked it. It's a reverse draw cut. Kind of. It's a reverse draw, but you have to switch it up. So basically, you're going to grab it, pull the sword up, you're going to come up this way, but as I'm bringing the sword around, I'm switching this hand. Because I grab properly with this hand, switch with this hand. So basically it's like this. So it turns out to be in the right position. it can be tricky to do. So it took me some practice to get it, to be comfortable with it. Because, I mean, let's face it, you're swinging a live edge sword around like that. So my hand, literally, that's my grip on this, okay, when I'm drawing it. So if I don't keep this pinch tight enough, that sword's going to come out of my hand. So it feels a little worrisome when you first do it, because like I said, when I'm grabbing it, that's my grip. It's not like that, it's like that. So it's just resting right in there. And you're swinging, you know, an almost 30-inch blade around. So be careful if you try it. I suggest practicing with a non-sharp weapon first. It's up to you if you try that one. Like I said, it feels a little cumbersome at first. Wakizashi. So you can grab the wakizashi like this, but if I pull it out, the edge is facing me. But what you can do is, see if I can't do it. There we go. You can just roll it in your hand. So it's not that bad. Or if you want to do a reverse cut after a downward cut, so basically like this, but you want to come back like that, you can. And all I'm doing, once I come down with the cut, I'm just loosening my grip, throws the edge up, and then you come up and cut. Now granted, if you try this for backyard cutting, just remember, when you come back up, that edge is facing you. Okay? So you better have really good control of your blade. Ah, the Castro is coming loose. And that's the thing, control over your blade. Can't emphasize that enough. You control the blade doesn't control you. Because everyone says I have really good control with shortcuts. Well, yeah, if I'm way over here, that does me no good. But if I stop right here, I can still come back and make another cut very quickly. Thinking about putting together a few videos with my wife. Now, she's not a practitioner, so I'll have to school her on what we're going to do for the videos. But to show how the moves actually work with another opponent, if that's something you guys want to see, let me know in the comments down below. Because some of the moves can look kind of weird or funny or strange. But the moment you start putting them with another opponent, I think it makes more sense to people. Because that's the drawback with Iaido. You're fighting an imaginary person. So yeah, of course it's going to work. They're imaginary. But put that with a real person, that's why I say theoretically it's supposed to work. Now granted, nowadays it's more about mind and body. But let's say you're in a situation, hypothetically, you need to defend yourself. This is what you have, which is fine. And first, before I go any further with that, I don't give a shit if you own a gun. Not everybody in this country owns one. Maybe they're not comfortable with owning one, but they're comfortable with these. So I don't want to see that bullshit comments. Don't mean to be rude. but I get sick of seeing that shit. So, rant over, but you want to be able to make sure that the move does do what it does. Then it's a good thing to know. You know, instead of you just like, you know, waving it around. And there are moves with the sword that you can demobilize somebody without hurting them or killing them. Like Tenchinu, we also have a move. You draw the sword, but what you do is you turn it so it's the backside, and then you smack the person with it. So you're just hitting them with the backside of the blade across the head. Pow! Real quick. Yeah, that's going to hurt like hell. It might give you a little headache, but it's not going to kill you. You can even do that. Draw the sword, flip it around, smack them in the arm, the hand. You know. People go, what about the reverse edge blade then? That'd be great for that. Yeah, it could be. Because the back of the blade's right there. Sharp edge would be right there. You know. User's preference. But there are moves in Iaido that are non-lethal. Like, we have this move, which is basically a shoulder stab. So you're basically stabbing them right here in the shoulder. So you're only stabbing them about that much. It's a deterrent to keep them from drawing their weapon. So the length of that Kisaki is all you're stabbing him with. Still hurts. Still probably going to need some stitches. So, you know. That's about it, guys, what I have for you, for all of you. Like I said, that list I showed you in the beginning. Just go online, type in Japanese Iaido cut moves, names, and a bunch of stuff will come up, you know. And it gives you, like that paper had, all the angles and everything else. Like I said, in Tenchinu, we have several. Goes from here, to 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 here, all the way through. I think you get the point, all the way to this point. Okay, that's what we have. So, have fun with it. Play with it. Even backyard cutters. Have fun with that type of draw cuts, you know. Turn that, you want to do a cut like that, turn it and just go for it. The reverse draw, like I showed you, where you draw it like this, take that one slow. Like I said, it took me a while to get comfortable with doing it. Because I was always afraid when I drew it out, it was going to come out from underneath and go flying off. So, practice it first. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Have a good one, and we'll see you later.